Hey guys, this is Luke,
I'm Jacob.
and we're here in Phoenix, Arizona, in a flip property in the middle of summer with no AC.
It's hot.
Yes. And we want to give you guys some tips and tricks to help you get deals quick, things that we use in order to identify deals every single day.
Awesome. Yeah, so we use these 4 pillars to identify motivated sellers. So without a pillar, there's really not a point for us to make an offer. If a homeowner wants highest and best retail value, that's just going to be a pass from us.
Yeah, and actually learning when to pass on a deal can actually save you a whole bunch of time. And so the quicker you can identify a deal, the more time you're going to save. So pay attention. This is going to be super helpful. I'm going to start off with the first one, and that's going to be condition. If someone is bringing you a deal that a family can just move into and live in and be happy and do no work to it, you're going to be competing with retail buyers. That's probably not the deal for you unless they happen to have a really strong motivation, which we'll talk about later, to sell. So condition is a big one. As you can see here, this house, this is one where, the flooring's gone, the electric is not working. This is like torn down to the studs. There's actually part of the house over there that's like falling down, like a family cannot move into and just live in all happy.
Right, so this property would not qualify for any sort of financing. No conventional loans, no VA loans, no FHA loans for sure. So this is going to be a cash or hard money transaction. Absolutely an awesome motivating factor. So the next one is motivation, right? So what types of motivation are there? So for us, maybe like a tired landlord. So the house could potentially be move-in ready or rent ready, we call. So a tired landlord does not want to deal with it anymore. Another common motivating factor is going to be like a probate situation. So the homeowner actually passed away and the family doesn't have a need or a desire. Maybe they live on the other side of the country. They're not familiar with the area. They just want a hands-off, simple transaction, right? So probate, that's a big one.
There are a few people who are like, oh no, real estate's dead, or now's a bad time to invest in real estate. But just like what Jacob was talking about, there's always going to be motivated sellers. Depending on your market, somewhere between 8 to 10% of all sellers are going to be highly motivated, because as long as people keep getting divorced, as long as people keep dying, as long as people keep losing jobs, there's going to be motivated sellers. Now, obviously, we don't wish that on anyone, but as investors, we actually have the ability to help out sellers that get put in tough spots. So we, as an investor, you can actually bring a whole lot of value to real estate in general. The next pillar is going to be price. Obviously, as an investor, you got to make sure that you get it at the right price. If you happen to be in a property that is very distressed, like this one here, dilapidated, not fit for living, not going to be qualified for any sort of financing from a traditional lender like a bank or anything like that, then obviously you can't pay retail for this type of deal. You make your money in the buy. So you have to make sure that you're getting it at the right price. Now, what this means is you're going to have to do some negotiating on your part, and that's fine. Life is a negotiation. The more that you practice, the better that you're going to get, because again, you're going to make your money in the buy.
Luke said it best, right? You make your money when you buy it, right? You buy it right, and then you get paid when you sell it, right? So those are the differentiators there. And then the last pillar is time frame. Yes. So time frame. Maybe there was a job loss. Maybe they're facing pre-foreclosure and they got to get out of there. Maybe there was a medical issue, right? Like a medical emergency, and they've just got to move on. So if somebody has a super compressed timeline, that is going to be a pillar as well. Most traditional real estate transactions sit on the market for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 days before they go under contract. Once they're under contract in a traditional buy-sell, it's 30 to 45 days until the transaction's recorded, right? When we find these investment opportunities, we're closing these deals sometimes in as little as 5 days and most often within 2 weeks. So it's super, super quick, super, super simple.
Yeah. So when you are evaluating a property and you want to know if it's a deal, you're going to see how many of these pillars match that property. So to give an example, we could be looking at a pre-foreclosure. So is that person going to be motivated? Well, yeah, in a lot of cases, they want to stop the foreclosure from happening, because if their house gets foreclosed on, well, now all of a sudden their credit's going to be ruined. Potentially they make no money. So that could be a really strong motivating factor. Now, the next thing, time frame, again, if the pre-foreclosure is happening, maybe they only have 30 days or 60 days. They might not have enough time to go put it on the market in a traditional sense, do a bunch of showings, wait for somebody to get it under contract. And then once it's under contract, wait another 30 to 45 days for that traditional lender to close on it. They might not have the time for it. So right there, that's going to be two really good things. Now, the next thing is price. Maybe someone could be in pre-foreclosure and they might be asking retail, and it's not a deal at that. Or maybe they're just like, hey, I just want to stop the foreclosure from happening, and I'm fine to just walk away with a little bit of cash in my pockets, or I'm fine to just get this deal moved so that way my credit is saved. So again, price, that's probably going to be the one that you end up negotiating on the most. But as far as other things like motivation, time frame, oh, and then condition, obviously, typically when someone doesn't have their life in order, like mentally, physically, they don't have their life in order either. In some cases, you might see a pre-foreclosure and it could be in immaculate condition, but usually there's going to be some wear and tear on it. That could be a great situation where you end up seeing all four pillars together. And if that's the case, then you know, okay, that's a really good deal and I want to go on that. And that pre-foreclosure would just be one example, but you could see all four of those pillars in probate situations and with tired landlords, inherited properties, all sorts of different, or just potentially family that's older, they've lived in the property a long time and now it's just in really bad shape. And you know, the only way that they can sell it is to an investor because a normal family can't live in it.
But the one thing that we would highly recommend is if there is no pillar, there is no offer, right? And when Luke was talking about condition, this house is down to the studs. This house might be a tear down.
Yeah.
We'll dig into that as we evaluate the opportunity. But there are many houses that are just in original condition. So there's things where we talk about value add. So can we take a property built in 1999 that's completely original and then bring it to, you know, the design standards and the amenities of today and make it worth more money? 1,000%.
All right. So if you're actually interested in seeing us break down this particular house to see if it's a deal or not, check out the next video where we go over this.